do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Hi, I'm James Gordon for the Thelemic Order. Over the next few weeks, we're taking some questions on the upcoming Thelemic Initiations. Now, one that we've already gotten a lot is, are there sects in these initiations? And I actually can't answer that question exactly, but I can give a roundhouse answer. There's nothing non-consensual in these initiations, and anything that we feel is likely to be stressful. And we can't always know exactly what will trigger someone, but we have tried to workshop it. Anything that might be stressful is something that you need to be told the outlines of ahead of time and consent to. If we have a jump scare, we need to tell you that, though we're not necessarily going to say when or where. So nobody's going to be doing anything non-consensual to you. That means touching you, or in general behaving in ways that would push from theatrical into personal space. So there's no way to construct an ethical large-scale system in which you're expected to have any kind of intimate contact with a staff person or a stranger as a prerequisite for an initiation of any kind. Yes, you can do small-scale personal rituals like that in some types of space, but you can't run a system of international initiation that way, at least not with our current models of consent. So, in that regard, the answer is absolutely not. And I can say there's no situation in the first tier of initiations where sex is really going to come up within the ritual framework. But I also don't want anyone to feel that they were led down a primrose path and lied to, so I want to be very honest up front. That said, as you progress into the higher tiers of initiation, there's going to be a lot of work and a lot of customization. Most of the higher initiations are going to be either for one person at a time or a related group of people with some common bond who are ready to experience initiation together. That answers the question, by the way, of how we end up being a working system of initiation, not a mill that just sits back and grants people degree papers. The answer is that each degree is exponentially more work and harder, and that there are no shortcuts. So the system is limiting because people are not going to progress until they're driven and ready. All that said, we're sex positive and kink positive. So it's absolutely possible that someone might choose to include those elements, provided they are bringing the people who are going to be intimate with them in a consensual framework, and that the initiator is also comfortable with that material. And not every initiator is going to be the right fit to work with every initiate in the higher grades. But we're not going to say, no, you can't include those elements out of some arbitrary code of propriety. Obviously, they have to be things that are both consensual and legal in the place and framework you're doing them. In one exchange about this, I got a very shocked response from someone who seemed to be under the impression that private events allowing sex between consenting adults were illegal, or at least very uncommon. As someone who annually does work in teaching at an outdoor festival with over 1,000 attendees, which allows sex, kink, and has a strong sacred sexuality track, I can assure you that this is not 1954 and that is not the case. What is important is to have consent models and policies to make any space where that can happen safe and consensual. So, even though sacred sexuality is core to Thelema, the expression of that sexuality is up to the individual. Self-sexuality, asexuality, or just not expressing sexuality as part of initiation are all very valid options. So, nobody's going to be coming around and telling you that there should be sex involved in your initiations. But as you begin to reach the grades where you have more control over your own initiatory experience, if that's something you decide to include or desire to include, we expect to be able to offer the framework and safety expertise to support it in a wholesome and consensual fashion. And that's a bigger part of the message. The system of initiation is not a train you can sit back on and ride to the 13th degree to collect a certificate to put on your wall. You're going to be working and developing and actually doing the work of initiation. This is not a system where we artificially limit advancement. We don't have any pyramid scheme. We don't have a system of invitations. The limit is your own readiness, and that's going to be signified by a desire and willingness to do work on your own behalf. Not work for the order, not work for the group, actual work on your own initiations. And that may mean designing rituals, working with others to design rituals, doing scholarship, things that build your core and your expertise. Not things you're doing for a group, not things you're doing for service. So, I hope you'll choose to do that, to pursue this path, and join me on this particular journey. And I hope I've answered a few of the more interesting questions that we've gotten about the initiations. For the Thelemic Order, I'm sibling James Gordon. Love is the law, love underdog.